Okay, so we're doing addition of integers. When we add integers, integers are negative and positive numbers. We went through that already. And we said, if I owe you 10 Rand and I paid you 2 Rand, then I still owe you 8 Rand. So when the signs were different, we subtracted the 10 and the 2. And we used the sign of the bigger number. So now we're just going to put formal rules in place, just so we know what to do in each case. So the first case is when we have the same signs. So when the signs are the same. When the signs are the same. Now be careful. If I have got -4 plus -5, these signs are the same, isn't it? The 4 is negative and the 5 is negative, and we're adding them. Okay. This is the same as -4 plus -5, like that. So I don't have to have the brackets. If I did not have brackets, this is how I would write it. If I did have brackets, this is how I would write it, okay? But these are exactly the same thing. And when we go into multiplication of integers, it would make a little bit more sense, all right? So when the signs are the same, we're just looking for the sign that's in front of the number. And if they are the same, example, -10, -2, or +10, +2, in normal situation, we'll just say 10 plus 2, isn't it? We wouldn't say +10. So we don't really have the number in front, the sign in front of positives. Okay, so when the signs are the same, the first thing we would do is add the numbers. If I have 10 Rand and I added 2 Rand to that, I'm having 12 Rand. If I owe you 10 Rand and I owe you another 2 Rand after that, I owe you 12 Rand. Can you see? So in both situations, we added the 10 and the 2. So when we have same signs, we always add the numbers. Add the numbers. Okay? So look at the two numbers, add them up. Right? The next one, don't ever put dashes in maths. Let's make it an arrow. Dashes can be negative, and that's going to be a problem, right? So the second rule is, what sign do I use? Okay, I need to add the numbers, but what sign do I use? You use the sign that is given. Use the sign that is given. Whatever sign is given in the question. So I have a negative here and a negative there. So the negative is given in the question, isn't it? So I used -12. Okay, I owe 10, I owe another 2 more, altogether I owe 12. Okay, so it's like adding up all my debts. I have 10, I have another 2 Rand, I worked maybe somewhere, I cut grass or whatever after school, and I earned another 2 Rand more, and from my savings, I have a total of 12 Rand. It's +12 because I have that money, isn't it? So therefore, you use the sign that's given in the question. Okay, so step 1, add the numbers. We said 10 plus 2, we got the 12, and we use the sign that's given in the question. If it's a minus given, our answer will be minus. If it's a plus given, the answer is plus. And remember, this rule is only for when the signs are the same. We do not use this when the signs are different. So what's the rules if the signs are different? Okay, so these addition rules are broken up into 2 categories, same signs and different signs. Okay, so when the signs are different, what do we do? Different signs. Let's take some examples of different signs. Okay, so different signs would be maybe -10 plus 2, isn't it? Because one's a negative and one's a positive. Remember, this also could be written like this. In brackets, okay? So you can put the signs in brackets. You know that it's going to be the same thing as this, okay? That's very important to understand. Do not get confused with brackets. Okay, so the signs are different. One's negative, one's a positive. Or we could have a positive and a negative. Remember, I don't have to have a plus in the front here. If I do, that's fine. I don't really need to write a plus in front of positives, but I have to write a minus in front of negatives, isn't it? So -10 plus 2 is the same as I owe 10 Rand. I paid 2 Rand. My answer, do you think I'm going to have an owing answer or a having answer? I owe 10 and then I paid 2. I'm going to still owe more, isn't it? Because I did not pay the full debt. I still owe 8 Rand. Okay. What did we do? Let's look at what we did and make some rules to use in every case. What did we do? We said, did we add or subtract the numbers? That's the first thing. We subtracted the numbers, isn't it? We said 10 minus the 2 and we got the 8. We subtracted the numbers. So the first step is to subtract the numbers. And the second step here is to determine the sign. What sign do we use? Let's answer the second one because it's not really clear on how to get the sign. Okay, so I have 10 Rand and I minus 2 Rand from that 10 Rand, for example. I went into a tuck shop. I had 10 Rand in my pocket. I spent 2 Rand on sweets. And what do I have left? I have 8 Rand. Do I owe 8 Rand or do I have 8 Rand? I have 8 Rand. So it's a positive answer. Okay, so there is some correlation here. The negative was bigger. I had a negative answer. When the positive was bigger, I have a positive answer. So what sign do we use? We use the sign of the bigger number. We use the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so whichever number is bigger is going to dominate the response here. So we use the sign of the bigger number. Okay, so if I owe more than I have, then I am in debt. If I have more than I owe, I am living comfortably, isn't it? So think of it like that. Negatives are owing, positives are having. So very quick recap. When we have the same signs, we always add the numbers and we use the sign that's given in the question. Obviously, both will be the same because they are the same signs, isn't it? So if I had negative, negative, my answer is going to be a negative. If I have positive, positive, my answer is going to be positive. But I always add the numbers because the signs are the same. Okay, so it's here like I'm adding what I owe together, or I'm adding what I have in my pocket, in my wallet. Okay, when the signs are different, we're always subtracting because we have debt here. This is what I have, and this is what I owe, isn't it? So this is two different types of numbers that's coming together here. So therefore, we have to subtract them to see the difference. I owe you 10 Rand. I paid you 2 Rand, and I have 8 Rand left. I owe you another 8 Rand. So I don't have this. I owe this. I owe you 10 Rand. I paid you 2 Rand. I still owe you 8 Rand. So this is why we subtract the numbers, because I owe 8 and the sign of the bigger number would dominate. If I have more, it would be plus. If I owe more, it will be minus. And that's how we determine the sign when we have different signs. Okay, so addition of integers broken up into 2 separate categories. Always first check the signs. Is it the same signs or is it different signs? And then use the rule accordingly.